Welcome to Trucker Podcast. My name's Sebastian.
My name's Jose, guys.
How's it going?
Good, dude.
9 p.m. Crazy day.
Crazy long day. Pretty hot out here today.
It's Wednesday and it's midweek craziness.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what's been happening in the shop lately?
We got a DD13 with injector cups. We have a radiator replacement on a customer's Volvo. It's like a 15, I believe. Cracked on the top right by the coolant reservoir.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got going on?
Well, our DPF issues.
Oh, yeah.
So
we had a boost leak on one of ours today. Right by the EGR. Right by the valve cover, there's a orange hose coming from the Egr Cooler coming into the intake.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the clamps busted and that caused the boost leak and loss of power.
Yeah. And so that
was a
just put a new
quick fix,
new clamp and that's done.
Yeah, and that triggered a check engine light.
Do you want to talk about the EGR Cooler? We did.
Yeah.
Did we do a video on that?
No, we didn't. That was so clogged up.
Yeah. It was a hard rock.
That was on one of the 14s. So we had driver was complaining that he had no power, and I think that was the only complaint that he's had, right?
He couldn't go over 64.
65, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it came down. We ran the overhead, and when we pulled the valve cover off, you have to remove the pipe that comes from the EGR cooler going into the intake in order to get the valve cover off. And we noticed it was full of soot, and it was pretty thick. So we removed we gained a little bit better access going to the EGR cooler.
Yeah.
And we saw it was just completely restricted. Cooler was cracked, and it was just building up.
Mm-hmm. So we have some parts. We swapped it out, and then what I've learned is we need to go and get some more junk D13s for parts.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I'm looking at 4? I told you I'm looking at 3, so one more.
Okay.
4 trucks.
They're what, 15s?
2015s, $500,000 on it. Paulie hooked me up.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, we're getting very good prices on it. Those are I-shift, D13 I-shifts, 239 frame. That's the only thing that is different than everything else, but that's fine. And it doesn't have it's a 630 cap, so it doesn't have the fairing on top.
Okay.
So we have to get it. But I know a place we could get it from.
Oh, you already did some research on it?
I did, yeah.
Okay, good.
How much are those going for? Color. It depends. The ones I found, I found used ones for like $400.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
No.
But the new ones are $800.
You just got to match.
Plus,
find something
you have to paint
it. Yeah.
And that color is not a normal.
It's a metallic color,
it's
right?
Metallic.
So it's going to be a little pricey.
Blue, yeah. So we'll figure it out. Maybe we should like a Mopar black or something.
Like that Freightliner we saw.
Yeah. Okay. So today's topic, we're going to talk about a lot of things have been happening, and I think we missed a couple episodes. We had the night out at the go-karts
last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a post, and it's just crazy. Did I tell you I have an interview tomorrow for a mechanic?
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to go. He's coming tomorrow. We need one more. Definitely, it's getting very, very busy and crazy. Today's topic, 3 things we hate about Volvo trucks. Volvo semi-trucks. Have you arrived at your 3 things already?
Yeah. Number 1, I guess it would be, I hate how the frames rust out.
The frame itself, or just the cab in general?
The frame.
The cab and the frame.
Yeah. Like that one that you purchased out in from Wisconsin, I believe. Yeah, we've seen a lot of. I mean, I've seen a lot of them that it's a common issue that they rust out so bad that the frame is just. It comes down to the the engine, trans, everything is good, but the frame is just it's shot. It's not even legal to be driving anymore.
Yeah, and our cab literally collapsed under the rust, which I should have done a lot better thorough. Well, I got it from a guy that I trust, and
it was real cheap though. It was
very affordable. And he told me, he was like, "Hey, Sebastian, it's not it has some rust on it, but it's low mileage." So I pulled the trigger. We got it. I mean, it did.
I mean, you got your money's worth for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
So, that's one. Okay, my thing, and I'm gonna start with some small stuff, and there might be more than 3. But the headlights
dimming out, always fogging up.
They're fogging up, and as a driver, and that's something that you might not be aware of, is no matter what you're trying to do, it's just such a weak light. The
projector.
Low beam,
you think it's the whole projector housing?
I don't know what it is. I mean, I think it's not only fogging up, but the angle of the lights is messing up. So I did a trick before when I worked hands-on on trucks. I put washers on the inside where the bolts go into when the mounting bolts hold it to the hood. I put some washers on the inside to tilt it a little bit down.
Okay, I get you.
Up. Tilt it up. So I put it on the bottom, and that helped tremendously. It was just shooting up a little more.
Nice. That's a good hack right there.
Yeah, it was a good hack, but and it worked. I actually drove it like that, and then it was fine. But if you have a high mileage Volvo, you're definitely pissed at the lights.
Yeah, replace the housing.
Yeah, but even if you get a new headlight, you know,
what do you think? You're gonna get like 2
to 3 years, maybe
3 years, and that's it. Yeah.
And I've tried everything. The angle is one, and there's another hack that I did, which is something that we've done on our trucks, because I think I told you that before.
So let me ask you something. So since you angled it up, did you get the finger a couple times? I mean, going down the road?
No, because any other truck, that's what you would think, and that's a good question, but I never had anybody point at me because it wasn't as bad as some other trucks, even with normal low beams.
Or some guys will do like the light bars, and then it's extremely.
I've seen that. But there's one more hack that I did, and since I would have to check if they're still available. I'm pretty sure they are. But when you have the fog lights on the bottom, when you have the option, some of them are obviously, have the corner bumpers, and they don't have that pocket. You have to cut it out and do some customization for it. But you can actually get an auxiliary light, not a fog light. The fog light is on the bottom. The auxiliary light is on the top.
Yeah,
and they were half the price of the fog light, and I'm like, that's crazy. And I swapped them out. The bulbs were a little bit cheaper, but the light itself was a lot cheaper. And I was surprised because I'm pulling it out of it's been a long time, but I think the fog light was around $100, $110, and the auxiliary was $70.
Oh, you can't beat that.
Yeah, and I just bought all the auxiliary lights, and they didn't have that lower fog light, and it did its job. I hooked it up, and every time you switched it to normal low beam, it would just turn on the auxiliary lights too.
Right.
So that's my number one. Number two,
I would say
it's difficult because it's a good design, right?
It's a good design. Yeah, you got that right. I mean, we don't want to talk trash on our Volvos, but
I know.
It's common things that we see fail. Another one would be the clusters going out.
Yes, that's a big one.
Big one right there. Sometimes you got the fuel gauge is not reading. Sometimes the RPMs just drop. Sometimes you get with the speedo. It's a little bit of everything, or no lights on the back of the display.
Yes, true. That's a good one. That's a very good one, and it is something that we've noticed on the higher mileage one for sure. But it is a pain. Some of the 700,000-800,000 mile ones also have. I remember now we also have issues with those clusters. Yeah, that's a good one. It's definitely a good one.
I mean, so it's definitely a good idea to hit the junkyard for one of those.
It is, but
brand new, they're like up in the 1,200 range, roughly.
Yes, I believe so. But there's a way to fix them.
Yeah.
Which is
solder it up wherever it went out.
Yeah. So we haven't fixed. We have quite a few of them, so we should definitely look into that. But we just usually have something laying around and we just swap it out.
Yeah, just quick swap.
Yeah. My number 2 is how the hood falls apart.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to touch on that because that's a big issue if you're not looking at your hood shocks.
It's something very cheap, and in the long run, it's gonna mess you up if you don't replace them.
Yeah, that's definitely some of the stories we had. It's just like how are you gonna see it's on the neighbors pulling up? Some of how you're gonna see it fall apart is it's gonna
start cracking on the outside, right by the headlight,
or by the bottom of the bracket where it's holding it. It's gonna start tilting and shifting.
Yeah.
And that's due to the shocks not holding it. When you open up, it's just slamming the hood. And that's
fiberglass hood.
Yeah, and then we've reinforced the brackets multiple times. We've fixed it, but it's just such an annoying. Once it start going, it's very.
You gotta address it as soon as possible before it keeps cracking up elsewhere, because you're gonna get cracks all over the place.
Yeah, and then we just get the $60 shocks.
Yeah.
And swap it if you see it's not holding.
Once it starts leaking, or once you pop the hood and you feel like it's not holding, then it's time to swap it over.
And they're expensive. A new hood is $2,800.
Yeah.
Not painted.
And they're black. Yeah, they come black. Yeah.
So you're looking at $3,500 expense. Yeah,
we've seen plenty of guys pull up here with some big straps all over the hood, holding the hood in place.
Yeah. We've done that on our old trucks where we have enough used ones that we can swap them out, but it is a headache. So that was my number 2. What about
you stole that from me, but that's fine.
I did, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because when I mentioned the first one, I was trying to remember, but no, you got it. So
now you have to come up with something else. Did you already say number 2?
Yeah.
Did you have to? And 3 was your hood?
3 was a hood, yeah, correct. Cab shocks.
You think, and I'm going to talk about number 3 because I have more. We should do. I'll talk about a few other things, and you keep thinking about your third one since I stole it for you. But even new trucks leak.
Water or oil?
Water. The cabs.
If you get some water seepage in them, right?
Yeah, and I've seen that all across. The newer ones are a little tighter, but I think when you're looking at the door seal on top, and then how you have on the 630s, you have the plastic fairing, and then how it's bolted in. I've had a situation before when water goes into that. How you screw it in. Yeah.
Do you think maybe it's when they're built at a factory, maybe they're not tightening down properly, and over time they rattle up, and you get some moisture?
Yeah. And then people putting wrong, not over torquing it, but also putting wrong bolts in it.
Yeah.
And that's been an issue. But even 670s, I've had a quite significant. Even I remember picking up one brand new one, and it was leaking within few months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we took it back. They fixed it, but it was that's weird. And it was the entire cab on the inside above the passenger door, but
it was covered under warranty, right?
Yeah, and the side it was leaking, it was literally wet, and then started molding.
So they put all the new interior panels, everything, right?
Yeah. It did take 3 weeks for them to do it. When they fixed it. Yeah. Did you come up with anything? Number 3. Thinking about it, there's a lot of things that you can. Thinking about a Volvo Access as a mechanic, or something that you don't like working on. I know you don't like working on interiors and
you know that. You know that.
But what is something that?
Well, yeah. Now that you're talking about that, you just gotta find your way. Those vehicle ECUs. Yeah. VCUs. We had a couple. You just got to get used to it. You got to take it apart a little bit more, but the access kind of sucks to it a little bit. But you get used to it and get it done a lot faster.
So let's make the ECUs, yes, but I would say more. Let's make it your number 3, the data link issues.
Data link issues, yeah, we do have a lot.
Right,
we come across them.
It is on older trucks.
Older trucks, but we do we do come across it on the newer trucks as well.
Mm-hmm. And that is something that you can either drive with for a long time, or it will mess up your truck.
It all depends on how bad the issue is. It can sometimes cause like a D-rate. It's gonna, two modules aren't gonna communicate with each other, and it's gonna be a big mess.
Yeah.
Not only that, but also on our side, trying to diagnose it, it's gonna be a little bit harder because we don't have any communication. We have to look for the issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We had that plenty of times. Sometimes trucks won't come in and no communication. And we have to find the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's part of the job. And, sometimes, unfortunately, customers won't understand that. You should just plug in the laptop and why is it not communicating? Yeah.
It would be awesome if it told you where the cable is cracked.
Yeah, where it's corroded or whatever the case is.
Yeah. I don't like, there's number 4 for me, but I don't like the 670 cab.
Why is that?
I just don't like it inside. I think it's a Goldilocks, and I just don't like. I like the 780.
The 780, yeah.
I like the 630 because it looks nice, but 780 is my favorite. 670 is very practical, both for teams and single drivers. But
I mean, you're just picking the 780 for room, right? More comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort.
It's just, I just love driving that truck. It's so roomy in the back and so many different configurations. And you close like when I was driving teams, you close the thing and it's just quiet, and it's so big.
Yeah, because you're that much further away from the front,
from
right?
The front, yeah. And that's the only thing with the 670 that I was just like always like, I mean, it's useful for what we're doing, the operation, and then I just personally as a driver was not a fan of it. The 780 was my favorite than Coronados and Classics.
Would you actually use a table in the back?
I have, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was useful, and then I slept sometimes on the top bunk. But I had a special mattress, so I would take it and then put it on top, and then use the table.
The bottom, use it for on the mornings. Wake up, load board, look something up.
yeah, load boards, forums, stuff like that. No, but that's. I think, as far as aesthetics and maybe finish, there's nothing to complain about how it's done. It's a very nicely done truck, but. Maybe it's not maybe what else I don't like the emissions.
But
that's not Volvo. Everything else is pretty good. I like the
turning radius on them. You love it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's, the 217s I believe is the shortest they have. That turns awesome. And then you have the 239 I think is the longest one, and then that's obviously 780 turns a lot. It still turns as a long truck. It still turns a lot better than a Coronado Classic. So nothing to complain there. But but that's a suspension setup. I hated the airbags on in front. But that's just not just Volvo. That's not a Volvo thing. Yeah,
you can put them on Freightliner as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And
we had a lot of guys complain about those airbags on the front. Like it's too shaky. I mean, it is.
Volvo started doing it with their D16, and not started. They've been doing it with the D16s, and they, from what I've been seeing, then D13s were showing up with those, and it was such I just don't like how it drives, and feels like it's dancing around the lane along the highway when you're driving it. And I mean, the springs were, to me,
I believe the springs are a lot cheaper.
They are.
They're a lot cheaper.
They are. And then I drove back to back.
Oh, that's another thing that I was going to mention. I do feel like we do go through springs a lot quicker on the Volvos than on the Freightliners. If you think about it, like all the times that we've replaced the like bushing issues compared to our Freightliners.
I think so.
I don't remember replacing any springs on our Freightliners, on the steer or the drive. And on the Volvos, we see it's a common issue that the lower spring cracks.
Isn't it because we have a lot more Volvos with a lot more mileage, a lot higher mileage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be definitely.
Yeah. But you're right. We do have some. I don't think we have anything over 1 million with a Freightliner, because all the gliders are well below.
Well, besides the one
besides 85, yeah. But we did the springs and bushings on that. Yeah, I remember. But yeah, that's it. I think we got some new episodes coming out. I want to do more interviews. We should still watch the one I did with Tommy, and I definitely want to do more. We've got really good feedback from that, and that's something I always wanted to do. And for any owner operators with trucks, shoot us an email, stop by the shop. We'll shoot some videos and have you on the podcast. We have a couple of guys already asking around, and I want some cab overs. So yeah, but all right, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, share, and we'll talk to you soon.